Hey, what's up, guys? So I want to show you inside the process of working with a high school hitter who's very, very, very talented. And I want to show you what I see a lot with a lot of young players is this movement right there. It's probably the biggest thing we have to work on with him, where so many players, a lot of players, they can swing fast, but their bat path can't be consistent. Therefore, they can't be consistently hitting the ball hard. And everyone wants to hit the ball hard. We just got to make sure we're doing it the right way. And obviously, we're looking for mechanical advantages so we can do it more consistently. Okay? So the biggest thing that stands out here is he gets that elbow high, which is fine. Like a lot of great players kind of get their elbow a little bit higher, like a Mike Trout or Pujols. But most importantly, when he fires, he pulls the bat down, and that elbow stays behind him. Therefore, he's not able to get on plane. That's why that bat comes in steep like that. That's why I have the X like that. Okay? So we got to get that elbow more on plane, and I'm going to step back and kind of show you. So we have to get that elbow more on plane so that bat can lay down in a better position. Okay? So now I'm going to show you the in-between feels. This is the feel right after. I said, hey, work on this. And the biggest thing I told him to do was when he gets in a really good load position, a lot of great players, their bat works away from their head. It helps the bat kind of lay down and get on plane. Now watch that feeling. See how he's turning the bat away from his head? And look at what the elbow does as a byproduct, right? See how that elbow's getting on plane, he's getting the bat on plane, right? This is just a feel, but now think about this. If I posted just this swing, just in general, let's watch it in full speed. It's a great swing. If I posted this swing in general, everyone on social media would be like, oh, he's focusing on the palm up, Mookie Betts type finish. Like, no, like he's focusing on this move right there. He's trying to turn the bat behind the ball and get his bat more away from his head instead of this position where it stays close to his head. It comes in really steep. So he'll clip a lot of balls and won't be consistent. And a huge teller of this is when players can only drive the ball when they hit it out front, it tells you that their bat path doesn't get on plane. And when they hit the ball deep, they always clip it and miss it. And they're like, it's too deep. It's like, no, like your bat path just wasn't on plane, therefore you couldn't hit it deep, right? We couldn't get the bat squared up deep enough. Okay, now this is the swing right after, that feel. Okay, so he's in this position, the elbow's high, the exact same thing, but notice how much quicker that bat gets away from his head. This is huge, right? And then the bat gets on plane. See how much more that bat is behind the ball? So it's still insanely short with the hands, right? His hands are still going. Let me draw a line. I can't draw a line right now in the presentation mode. His hands are still kind of going in this motion. I would prefer if they turned a little bit better, but they're insanely short. But most importantly, that bat is getting behind the ball and getting space away from his head and allowed him to get a lot more, not a lot more speed. He got a little bit more bat speed because his bat is now turning instead of pulling. Now compare that, right? So now he's got hand speed, but not a lot of bat speed because his bat is simply just being pulled into the hitting zone instead of this, where he's turning the bat into the hitting zone. Huge difference. So now we got a Nike swoosh path, and ultimately he was way more consistent with his barrels. He's way more consistently on time, but even when he wasn't on time, he was able to drive the ball more consistently because now his bat's going to square up with more hits rather than having to be perfect, rather than have to have perfect timing, all that type of stuff. So ultimately, he's going to get way more hits just because his bat is now on plane way earlier, and he's able to square up to the ball much earlier. He has a lot of speed, just like a lot of hitters do, but they ultimately need to focus on more of a bat path thing, more of a bat path focus. Now, a lot of players have really good bat paths, they don't have much speed. So ultimately, the thing here is you got to find good coaching. A lot of coaches will see, his name is Cash. They'll see Cash, his phenomenal pitcher as well. Throws high 80s, low 90s with a good fastball and good off speed. He throws hard and hits the ball hard. A lot of coaches will see him and be like, I love it. Let's keep on focusing on power. But ultimately, like his power is being wasted because he can't hit the ball consistently. Ultimately, the only thing the ball cares about is if you can square it up or not, right? Then when you do square it up, then the ball is going to be hit hard because he can produce a lot of speed and power. Then there's a lot of coaches who focus solely on bat path. And it's like, okay, he has a really good bat path, but he only hits the ball at 80 mile an hour. Like that's ultimately not going to play. So we got to figure out who you are and what adjustments you need to make. And he has a lot of speed. He needed to make a consistency adjustment. I got to be on time more. I got to flush up the ball more. Boom, there we go. So now we're just trying to maintain his power and his bat path instead of one or the other, right? You always want to find that happy medium of one or the other, and they're very, very important. So make sure you find a good coach and you're on the right path to make a lot of impact in the game and produce good results. Good luck.